And welcome everybody to the Ecstatic Business Show. I am so excited to introduce you to one of my dear friends and clients and colleagues. And I am also her client as well, Colleen McCartney. It is such an incestuous relationship over here, and we love every minute of it. Colleen is the founder of Nerdly.io. She and her partner Kate are doing an amazing job revolutionizing technology for coaches and consultants, helping them to fall in love with their technology as a means of becoming more personal. And that's what I really want us to focus on today is that high tech really allows you to be high touch. And that correlation where your technology is making you more human is one of the things that I love most about Colleen and the work that she's doing at Nerdly. She's also going to be launching her own SAASy podcast. That's SAASy, to talk about, all of the fun, sassy things, because she is a sassy lady, and I love her on the tech side and for her fiery spirit. Colleen, thank you so much for joining me today, and I am so looking forward to diving into talking about nerding out with you about technology.
Thanks for having me. And what's really fun is with the Sassy Girl podcast. And it's funny that I got this actually from one of my Burning Man campmates. Is typically it's known as software as a service. What
Yep.
he turned around as solutions as a service, because that's really what it's all about, right? Because you can get software from any Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Everybody can offer you software. What not everybody can offer is a solution, and not just a solution, but a solution that comes with a community, right? And that's really what Nerdly is all about. We provide a solution for you and a supportive, welcoming, and embracing community. And
And I
that's
think that's important, yeah, because a lot of people, like in the entrepreneurial sector, get overwhelmed by their tech. They love the idea of being high tech, having things automated, having their workflows done for them. But then, like, you actually get into the weeds of setting up your website and sending out emails and having to do a unsubscribe button, and all of these like minutia things really add up and become a block for us getting our message out in the world. And we become so paralyzed by the tech side of things that really it ends up being an obstacle to the thing that we want to do in the world rather than a help in the way that we want to do. So I'm curious, what are the things that people most complain about with their technology when they come to you? What is the biggest thing that gets in people's way as they're setting up
honest.
their tech systems?
It's just the overwhelm. It is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely the overwhelm. It is the analysis paralysis. It is just,
Yeah.
it's not even a thing that they don't know what to do. It's just the grand spectrum of everything where it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what to do. It's so confusing and overwhelming,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I wish I could say it's, oh, they don't know how to set up their DNS records. Oh, they don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to set up their email DNS, or they don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to set up a workflow. No, all that stuff they know how to do, right? And especially as a neurospicy person, I very much get it, because you see, oh, I need to do this one thing. No, it's actually, I need to do these 20 little things that actually mean this
Yeah.
one thing. And
Yeah,
when
you just said like set up DNS records, and I was like, immediately my eyes started glazing over. I'm like, I know in theory what that means, but no idea. None at all what I would have to do that.
And honestly, we're seeing it as
um,
a game changer, because we never really thought about the done for you solutions or done with you or any
mm,
of that, because, I have, my background is tech support, right? And
hmm.
training
Yep.
and teaching people how to use technology. So our first thought was just like, we're going to build out all the step-by-step instructions on how to do a thing. Did
Hmm.
not even cross our mind someone would rather pay us money than do the thing.
I am so that person. I'm like, here, let me throw all the money at you so I don't have to worry about this ever again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
um,
And that's the
So
thing is,
how did you get into this in the first place? I'm curious about your story because I mean, there is definitely this uh, stereotype right, that girls don't play in the tech field, but here you are, like tearing it up, doing an amazing job. What what interested you? How did you get into this in the first place?
Um, so this goes all the way back to um when I graduated high school, was going to college, didn't actually get into college, right? I had, we'll call it
Ooh.
a colorful senior year. And did not get into college. And so I was looking around, okay, the big thing that was put into my brain was I need to be able to make enough money to take care of myself. And I live in
Right.
Northern Virginia, which is, if you guys are not familiar, Northern Virginia is basically the East Coast Silicon Valley, right? It is
Mm,
where, like, this is the, like, backbone fibers of the internet are here,
mm,
right?
hmm.
So it was really easy to find, oh, look, I can go check out this computer stuff, and I happen to be good at it. And oh, look, it looks and
Hmm.
feels like a video game. That's awesome. So,
Hmm.
I stumbled into that. What got me into Nerdly was I was in network marketing with doTERRA because I'm all about natural
Hmm.
wellness. P.S. I'm also
Yeah.
about traditional modern medicine. They work together, folks. You don't have to do one or the other. Just
Mm,
caveat,
yeah.
caveating that one. Um,
Yeah.
and my coach at the time was not tacky, right, at all.
Mm,
And she happened to teach people how to use like, follow up and systematically taking someone through a conversation. And uh, she ended up founding her own social media CRM. And I ended up, because
hmm.
of my tech skills, she was like, you want to run the help desk for this? And I was like, sure, why not? And through that, I discovered this more software, and I understood more about my ability to be able to work with tech because I just didn't know. I mean, I'm like, I'm just this,
Hmm.
I'm this hippie selling essential oils at these yoga festivals and music festivals. Then, oh, computers, I know how to do this. So I'm just doing it. I have
Hmm.
no idea. No, there was no context. There was no one saying, oh, hey, guess
Hmm.
what? You can run a media agency. How was I supposed to know?
Mm, hmm.
There was a lot of personal
Yeah.
growth to go through as well to be able to get to where I'm at
Hmm.
today.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think as an entrepreneur, there's the business skill set and the tech side of things and learning those skills. But then that inner growth is, in my opinion, the reason that we bother becoming entrepreneurs at all is that personal development side where you're coming to face with all of your limiting beliefs. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? We call the show the sacred success stories because we love talking about the times when you come up against those inner demons and you have to figure out how to slay them in order to continue your business. So I'm curious if you
All
feel
the
comfortable.
time. I cannot tell you.
Share an example of a time when you came up against one of those hard moments and you had to find your way through.
I mean, my business partner, Kate, and my husband can both tell you that the amount of times that I've like, I'm the worst person ever. And like, one person cancels, one person complains is all it takes,
Mm.
right? And really,
Oh
the only
yeah.
people they've even specified, I think we've had 12 people in total cancel since we began.
Hmm.
Every single one of them, I
Hmm.
have stopped working my business and I don't need to pay for your software anymore. And it puts me into a spiral. Like, how could they cancel on
Mm.
me? They don't love me. They think I'm awful. They figured
Yeah.
out I'm a fraud. Like, how could I possibly go
Mm.
on charging people money? Like, I'm defrauding all of these people. I'm the worst person
Mm.
ever. Meanwhile, I literally just got an award for supporting over 100 businesses. Right? Like, these are the things
Yeah.
that it makes absolutely no sense, but these are the things that my brain
Yeah.
tells me.
It absolutely. And I mean, our brains do have a negativity bias. So it does. One negative thing, it takes 5 to 10 positive things to outweigh that. So you're completely normal. I think all of us who have lost a client can personally attest to how awful that feels. And it is when we are our businesses, it's very difficult for us to distinguish who I am and who my business is. And realizing that somebody can no longer want my services, it doesn't mean that they hate me and I'm a horrible human being. So I think that's a really good discussion to have, is to recognize like you and your business are separate entities, and I get to serve my business. And I think the thing that most people forget is that your business should also be serving you. And I know
Yeah.
that this was something that you really struggled with when we came in as well, is just that you were killing yourself. I don't think I'm putting that too harshly,
No.
for peanuts. And you were doing a great job of creating cash flow and creating cash reserves, but you were investing so much back into the company, and you weren't setting very good boundaries. So speak to a little bit about how hard that was as you were trying to get this built, and there's really low profit margins in the work that you're doing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there is very, very little profit margins in what we're doing because we deliver such value. And really
Hmm.
my mindset and it still is that we want to be a utility for people's businesses, right? I see a
Hmm.
lot of people who do very similar to what I do, and they charge four, five, $600 a month, and they still have
Hmm.
all their clients. In my
Hmm.
headspace, if I don't help the smaller businesses find success and be able to impact their communities, who will?
Hmm.
And if
Yeah.
these small businesses don't impact their communities and they don't exist anymore, then we're all just going to fall victim to the Amazons and Microsoft of the world. And they
Yeah.
don't have the heart-centered human connection desire that these businesses that I support do. And that's really
Hmm.
what we're all about, right? Like that's part of why it was so hard to set boundaries in the first place, is because I know each person we're supporting, right? As much as me and
Yeah.
Kate, we have a team, we've really set up structure so that I am there's like a barrier between me and the clients because I can't see. Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, help ticket. Oh, I will die. I will spiral out and just be like, oh, they hate me. No, they don't hate me. They have a question.
Yeah. Hmm. And you take
So,
all of your help questions so seriously. Like you have been known to hop on a call with me for hours to try and figure stuff out, which is not sustainable as a business model. I'm just saying. But
it
you
is,
do. You have such heart. And yeah, I kind of want to speak to that because I think a lot of people, they don't understand all that goes into it. So your software, you haven't just pulled like white labeled like go high level. You've conglomerated some really powerful engines together and created them to be unified and streamlined, which is remarkable. But you've also done it at very little profit margin, which always drives me crazy as your business coach. But I think the biggest question mark is, I don't think people understand just how robust your software is. Like it builds websites, it sends out automations and emails. You can do text messages and voicemail drops. You can set up calendars so people can book with you. You can set up products and courses so people can buy from you. You can set up membership sites so that they can be in communities together. Like this is sort of the one ring that binds them all together. But my biggest question, I think, is how big does an entrepreneur need to be in order for this solution to make sense? And I think that's the hard part, is that I get a lot of baby entrepreneurs who are like, I've got one or two clients. I know that I need to do more marketing, but this feels like a big investment. So as you're talking to people who are thinking of getting their tech in place, what does that tech stack need to look like, and when does it make sense for Nerdly to come into the picture?
honestly, it makes sense on day one. And that's the reason
Mm,
why we have such a low margin, is because the
hmm.
reality is if you bootstrap, you shoestring budget this, right? You're now, as soon as you have one thing, oh, wait, as soon as you get good with it, oh, I need to now have an emailer. Oh, now I need to have a funnel. Now I need to build automations. So we really wanted to
Yes.
be not just the one-stop shop for your software. We have over 7 calls a week for support and training. We have an AI help bot, so you can type in any question you want, and it pulls from all of our help docs, all of our videos, all of our trainings. So you don't even have to attend a training to be able to access the knowledge base of those trainings. So it really
Yeah.
makes your life a lot easier, because one of the big things is, and we'll talk about this till the cows come home, because it's one of the pivotal pieces, is onboarding your clients, right? If you have
Yeah.
a seamless onboarding process, then your clients are going to have a vastly different experience than, oh, hey, I should send
Oh,
you
yeah.
an email and say thanks for buying my thing. Oh, hey, we have a call coming up. I should remind you about that. Oh, hey, how many times are you going to have the same exact conversation before you record it and put it into a course and say, oh, I see what you're going
Right.
through. Okay, module 2, go watch that, and then write down your goals, and let's circle back about this next week, right? Because that's
Yeah.
really the reality of what we're doing. Like, our primary focus is with coaches, course creators, online entrepreneurs that are trying to make an impact on their audience. So it's not just like, hey, buy my product. It's, I'm going to help you make a transformation. So the more that you can streamline and automate the processes, the more that you can actually show up as a human for your clients.
Yeah. Yes. And that's what I want to underline. I think I want you guys to hear this loud and clear, is you do not get tech because tech allows you to scale or go bigger, although it does, and that's a nice bonus. You add in technology because it helps you be more human, right? If you are not trying to constantly keep track of things and things are slipping through the cracks, if you are not constantly trying to remember who to email about what thing, you get to be more present, right? And that's what we want to do, is we want to automate everything that you can automate so that your presence, your personality, your humanity is the thing that you get to focus on and be with your clients in that really powerful way that gets them to stay with you for life. And I think, Colleen, you do that great. The other thing that I wanted to say that you haven't mentioned, but I think is important when you said, I think you should start on day one, is you are fanatical about your clients getting a return on investment for their operational software, which is just crazy. But you take it like personally when people aren't actively generating money using your software, which as a sales coach, I adore, because I think that's really important. Is a lot of people get distracted from sales when they start going into marketing, and they're like, well, I need to post on social media, and I need to do my email newsletter, and I need to do all of these marketing things, but the focus is sales, right? All of that should just be, how do we get calls on your calendar? How do we talk to real humans and help them to make the best decision possible so that we can take their money and we can change their life, right? And you share that obsession with me, right? That we want to make sure that we are helping put money into people's pockets with the work that we're doing.
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason why we have 7 calls a week, right? We have different coaches that speak to different needs. Like we now have an ads coach. So they come on twice a month and they do a training on ads. And what we're also doing now is the first 10, 15 minutes of any of these calls is now going to be everyone's on mute for 10, 15 minutes. We're going to do a training, splice that out, put that into our knowledge base, and then open it up to Q&A, because technology is constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah.
And the reality of being able to provide all the support and community that we do, as well as the knowledge bases, this is not a reality that there's not enough time. And also we want to make sure people are informed, right? Like, what are the things you need to know that are actionable? Because we don't want people, and that's why we have all of this bundled into the AI help bot, because we don't want you to be stuck in learn mode. We don't want you to really you don't need to understand how to do the thing. Just know what buttons to click and go get it done.
Yeah. You just need to do
right?
it.
That's
It's fun.
the reality of it
Uh,
is you don't need to understand it. You just need to know the right buttons to click. And
hmm
that's the
Yeah,
thing I always tell people, like,
absolutely.
guess what? There's nothing you can do that can break stuff that we can't fix. So just go
Hmm.
mess around and find out.
I love that. And I think you do. You take the fear out of tech, right? I think there's a lot of fear about like, what if I click the wrong button or I do the wrong thing? And your point is like, there is no wrong thing. There's learning opportunities, and we could teach you and coach you and make sure that you're getting back to the real thing. But for you, it's like, this is all just figuring it out together and let us help you make this simple. Okay, so we mentioned onboarding your clients is like one of the key pieces that you need to have in place is just what happens when somebody says yes and hands you a credit card, right? And how does that onboarding process feel so good, right? What are two other things? Like you need this as your tech foundation as a new entrepreneur. You need to be able to onboard your current clients easily and efficiently so they have like white glove treatment for those first week, 2 weeks that they're starting with you. But what do you find is also the most critical? Like, let's go with two more things that somebody needs to have in place for them to really be successful as they scale.
I mean, really, having your processes in place in general, like what is your sales process?
Hmm
What's your what so that you know how you convert clients, like what are the things that you're doing
hmm
that work, and your retention
hmm
process. Because your retention process is so much more important than your sales and marketing efforts. Because if you have a leaky ship,
Mm,
if you're in a rowboat and you got a big old hole in it, don't matter how much you're
hmm
bailing it out, it's gonna keep sinking,
Yeah,
right? Or another example is if your bucket has a hole in it and you're pouring water into it, and
right.
it doesn't matter how much you pour into it if it's gonna keep leaking out,
Yep.
right? So we really focus on the client retention process as well, and that's where the automations come in place. Right? Like, for
hmm
example, if you're a fitness or health coach, do you think your clients are going to be successful in making changes on their own if you just say here's the course, or do you think that they're going to have a you're going to have a bigger impact and transformation with them if you
hmm
send them today you get to drink 8
Yes.
cups of water, and then
Right.
today
Right.
you get to go run around for half a block or whatever, right? Like those
hmm
little bits
Yep.
break out the things that they need to do into individual bite-sized
hmm
chunks, right? The biggest thing that
Yep.
I've seen some people deliver courses that are like 30, 60-minute videos. That is not a
Uh-huh.
course. That is not a course.
Mm,
That is a
hmm
video. And what you
hmm
need to look at, because you got to realize there's so many neurospicy people. All your training needs to be in small, comprehensible, bite-sized chunks. What is the one thing you want them to take away
Right.
from this one lesson? That is all we're talking
hmm
about. And then
Yep.
those videos are super repurposable, right? If you're talking a
hmm
very short video, guess what you can then do? You can splice it and turn it into a reel, right?
hmm
So you can take the training and now repurpose it as marketing. So you're taking your deliverables and repurposing it. So now you're not having to
hmm
make deliverables and then make marketing content. It's all the same.
Yep. I love
Yeah.
this. So we talked about sales, then
Show up.
onboarding, and then it feels like, yeah, that delivery and retention process is like thinking through, okay, what are you promising? How do you, after they've said yes, how do you get them onboarded? But then how do you deliver on that promise that you've given them in such a way that they hopefully become fans and in the fanatical sense, right? Like, how did they start
Yeah,
talking
because
about you to their
if your
friends and
clients
sharing
aren't
you with
giving you
community?
referrals, what are you doing? If your clients
Yeah.
are not giving
hmm
you, let me repeat this again. If your clients aren't giving you referrals, are you actually delivering on what you promised?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the Ecstatic Business Program, we talk about the 5 E's, right? This whole circle of engage, which most people understand as marketing, the education step, helping them to understand what their pain means in terms of a problem and the solution, then enroll. Then from enrollment, to your point, that evaluation step, how are you getting them onboarded? How are you making sure that you're delivering on the promise that you gave them? And then that results in E, the last E, which is endorsements. How do you get referrals, testimonials, case studies, proving that when you say you can get a result for somebody, if you're a health coach saying, I know that you can lose weight, I know that we can balance your hormones, right? And here's the before and after case study of how we've done it. And here's people actively sending me business because they love us, right? If that piece isn't in place, it's a sign that your organization is not healthy. And that's what I love Nerdly for, is because it can help you at every single one of those stages, engaging your audience, educating your audience, enrolling your audience, evaluating your performance, and then gathering endorsements at the back end and making sure that they have affiliate links, which actually is the perfect segue because I love being one of your affiliates. I just got my most recent affiliate check and I'm like, oh, this is so nice. Like, it's automated. I sell Colleen, Colleen sends me money. This is an amazing scenario. And like, neither of us have to actually keep track of anything because it's all automated. It's beautiful. So I'm going to be completely upfront and say that I am happily going to endorse Colleen and say you guys absolutely should enroll in Nerdly.io. I'm going to put my link for her Black Friday sale in the chat because we've got today and tomorrow. I think you were really generous. You gave them until December 1st that they could enroll in your Black Friday deal, which is amazing. So you get a
It's
discount.
Thanksgiving, right? It's Thanksgiving. Everyone's got enough
Yeah.
going on, right? Like I deal with enough anxiety. I'm not trying to force anxiety on anybody.
Yeah, no.
Circle back next week. We got you.
Yeah, exactly. So what she is offering is a discount. So if you buy for the whole year, which I highly recommend so that you can get your tax deduction for this year and pay it off for the whole season. So gift yourself a year's subscription to Nerdly. But inside of it, I am one of her brand partners. I am actually giving away one of my sales courses. I think you have like 7 that you have compiled of amazing bonuses and gifts of how to use AI, how to use technology, how to do onboarding. I have sales, like customer service. So it really is like a whole little like business training in a box. And then everything that somebody teaches you how to do, you can then go automate inside of your system. And
Exactly.
you also have this amazing 10-day challenge called Post to Profit that I know we're not doing a live version, I think, until February, which I highly recommend that everybody sign up for that as soon as possible. But I think people can do the replay and like go through
Yeah.
it at their own self pace, right?
And as my sales coach, you're gonna hate this, but so yeah, anyone who signs up with Nerdly actually gets free access to our Post to Profit course. We have taken
Mm-hmm.
all the live training that we did and turned it into a step-by-step course. And whether you use our social CRM software that bundles with Nerdly or you're not there yet, we still teach you the step-by-step things that you need to do to get yourself there. Right? Because,
Right.
on day one, no, you don't need our super powerhouse, awesome social CRM side, right? Because there's a lot of bits and pieces of getting your systems, your social platforms set up.
Mm-hmm.
And we teach you step by step on how to do all that, how to take someone from a comment on your social media post to a profitable client. Because
Yeah,
the whole
it's
thing
amazing.
about this is leveraging all these automations allows you to show up as a good human. That's just the reality of
Mm-hmm.
it. That you need to have these automations in place. Like, do you need by the way, make sure you repost that with a space between your link and opens in a new tab.
Oh, that's hilarious. I wonder if I show yours instead, will it be better? If I put show. Nope. I don't know. I'll have,
Anyhow, there we
I
go.
think I might have
Woo!
gotten kicked out of my own thing. There it is. Perfect. That's better.
Because the reality is, do you need to personally say you should put a post up and say, I've got a training on how to turn your Facebook group into profitable clients, right? I have a training on this. Who wants it? Do you need to
Hmm.
personally react, reply, and send a DM saying, hey, I saw you commented on
Oh,
my post. Tell me about where you are with your business right now. Do you need to do all that, or do you
Mm,
need to be there for when they reply?
right.
Because even if you engage on my post and I DM you, if you don't reply, then you're not actually interested and I don't want to spend my time on you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. That's okay. You got excited in the moment, or better yet, like, do you want to be DMing people who haven't said, Caitlin, I want your offer? No, no,
Yeah.
because we don't want to sell people on stuff that they haven't said they're interested in. If they haven't raised their
Mm-hmm.
hand, honked their horn, as my coach calls it, if they're not your yellow car, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
We only want to put our offer out in front of people who have said they have a problem that we can solve. And that's why
Yeah,
people get
absolutely.
so in their head about sales. Sales isn't about
Mm-hmm.
selling someone, right? We're not trying to force them to buy something they don't need. It's the art of listening and communication. Can you listen to what someone is telling you and comprehend the issues that they are telling you that they have? And can you then translate that into how your offer is a solution for them in a way that they can
Right.
understand it? That's
Yep.
what it's about.
It,
It's not about forcing them to buy something. It's, can you communicate with someone?
right. Yeah. And I think the bigger thing that people don't realize is if you do have a solution, you sort of have a moral obligation to enroll that person in the solution, right? If they have a pain point, they have a problem, like, and you have the solution to that problem, get out there, right? It's like we always say, like sales is an act of love and service, and marketing is your divine beacon of hope to the world. So you have to go out there and get your message to people. And usually people are like, well, I want people to come to me. And it's always like, that's like asking the doctor, like, if you have a broken leg, I want you to come to me. Instead of like, I'm going to go to the person who has the broken leg because I know that they can't get to me, right? So, how are you putting yourself out there in a way that people can find you easily when they do have a problem that you can solve? Yeah.
Yeah. And even beyond just the
Oh.
software that we provide, or sorry, the solutions we provide, um, like on Tuesday, like I go live every week in my group and we do tech tips. Like
Mm-hmm.
this week, I went over AppSumo Black Friday deals, and some people had no idea what AppSumo was, and I'm like, it is my wallet's worst. It's my wallet does not like AppSumo.
It was like
Uh,
when I used to work at a bookstore. I never saw my own paychecks. It was
yeah,
terrible.
and I mean, but there is software there. Like, do you really need to pay Zoom and these recording softwares $30, $60 a month? Or do you just need a
Mm,
thing that you can send someone a link and show up to talk to them? Right?
right.
Like,
Yep.
and that's the big thing. Like, I love betting on the small guy because, like, back in the,
Hmm.
that's, I try to help people find, like, all right, what can you buy once and then not have to pay for again? Right?
Yeah,
I mean, the reality is your
absolutely.
main core software that's like, you're never going to get that as a one-time payment. Like, it's
Yeah.
just not going to
No,
happen. But there's lots of bits
no.
and pieces like that, and I blew people's minds. They're like, oh, this is so amazing. You just saved me a bunch of money. Like, I had one
Yep.
client when we moved to Nerdly, like, you saved me $900 a month on software. I was like, how were you spending
Yep.
$900 a month on software? Like, what were you
Right.
buying?
Yeah, it's crazy. So recognizing you can consolidate it all into a single solution is amazing all in of itself. But yes, most people, if they've been trying to scale, have been buying really expensive solutions to the problems that Nerdly connects. I love it. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to wrap up a little bit early because I know we have Thanksgiving in the United States. I am still in Turkey where they don't sell turkeys, so I don't actually get to eat turkey on Turkey Day in Turkey. But it's okay. I'll be fine. Next week, I will be back in the States and we'll hopefully scrounge up some cranberry sauce and yams because that's the only time of year that we get to eat those things. In the meantime, do go to nerdly.io Black Friday. You don't have to use my affiliate link. It's still a great deal, whether you join through my link or not. Do sign up for the whole year and really get plugged into the community. I mean, daily access, guys, to support, encouragement, coaching. There's some amazing humans doing incredible
Oh,
things. And I
we
know that, go ahead.
we did something special. Kate wasn't super happy about it. And I was like, we're doing this. So once you complete
Uh-oh.
your onboarding, you get a strategy call with me. So every single person will have a
Oh,
strategy call with me. And on top of that,
that's
if
amazing.
you get your onboarding done, like you go through the steps and actually get yourself set up, within the first 2 weeks, you get an additional Nerd Herd tech support call. So you get one-on-one support with any of our Nerd Herders. So if you want to learn about ads, you want to learn
Amazing.
about community management, you want to learn about automations, we have people that can help you with that. And on top of that, if
Very
you get
cool.
your onboarding done in your first week, on top of those 2 calls, you get an additional $50 credit on your account.
Oh, you are incentivizing people to do their homework? This is
Yeah.
amazing. I love it. And that I think is a good tip. I want you guys to listen. Like on a meta level, we talked about how important it is to onboard your clients. But in Colleen's case, she knows that if you do not get your shit together in the first week or two, you're gonna lose momentum. And so she's actually putting her own money on the line to incentivize her clients to do the work that they know they need to do, but may not make time for, may not prioritize. So it's a really great example, Colleen, of how you're actually living the thing that you're preaching and showing people how to model that. It's really beautiful. So thank you so much for being with me today. I know that you're at your family's lake house and I pulled you away from the festivities. So really appreciate you and looking forward to, well, always being your client and affiliate partner. But also, the more I can get your message out to the world that technology allows us to be human, I love that message so much. So, hope the rest of you guys are inspired. And in the meantime, have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Thanks, Colleen.
Later, nerds.
Bye, guys.